Hello there to Andre and anyone else who finds this video. Today, I'm going to go through the synthesizer roadmap for creating an offer using their offer checklist and custom discovery GBT. I was originally going to do this by hand or with my own Claude GBT, but we will try it with the synthesizer discovery GBT first, and then see how we want to customize and refine it. But this should help do a lot of the initial heavy lifting that is often the tedious and difficult part. So to start, I had watched this loom, which is a part of the crafting an offer step on the synthesizer roadmap. I have opened up all of these tabs, and the way to do this, we click to begin, and we take the transcript from our discovery call. Now we recorded the call, but I also happened to create a transcript from our call. And we send it. Actually, wait, there's a far easier way for me to do this. Over on Google, you can use the tools function, and it has a free voice transcriber. This looks good. I was thinking of giving a guide of me walking through the synthesizer offer checklist by making a video of me going through the process of filling out the checklist using the GBT and having an offer at the end of the video. The offer I want to build is a one-on-one coaching offer that helps people find a piece of an identity they want to adopt and helps them incorporate it into themselves in a way that feels authentic so that they can work towards building an identity that they feel is authentic to themselves. And then we copy and paste, which is so much faster than me trying to type things and spell. What do I think I can help others with most? I think I can help others identify pieces of themselves that they want to adopt into their identity, help people learn how to take steps to feel more authentic, and maybe help them feel a little bit more confident in themselves and have some courage to be able to do things that are a little uncomfortable and outside of their comfort zone. Okay, highest impact or quickest and easiest to deliver. I think it's the identity snapshot exercise. Okay, this is the point where we're going to try and have the GBT do this. So we're going to download as an MD file, which is what the loom said to do. Here's the file. Could you add the notes from this conversation into it? Okay, so it has completed the worksheet for me. So I'm just going to go copy this. Okay, got that copied down now. Now, let us begin to outline this quick win coaching session. So, according to this, once we have filled out the checklist, we can take that, download the coaching offer file, and give it a small description of what we want. Great! I want to do a one-on-one coaching offer and deliver it through a 4-week program. The first week, I want us to identify the piece of an identity someone wants to adopt, and I want to create a small daily action step that they can perform each day throughout the next week to build towards feeling like they've incorporated this component into their identity, maybe for week 1 and 2. And then for weeks 3 and 4, I want us to work on small achievable action steps to embody the piece of identity we worked on previously and taking steps towards authentically presenting this identity in small ways in our day-to-day life. We go over here, put this in here, file, download as markdown file, save. Okay, let's see what this gives us. This is definitely not the thing we want to ship, but it will give us enough of an outline that we can run through it ourselves and really refine the offer into something we want. Client-facing summary, yeah. Create me a client-facing summary that I could put on a social media post on the community that I am growing to show the people that join there that this offer is available. That's pretty good. A new one-on-one coaching experience. The Identity Snapshot Program. If you've ever felt like you're wearing a mask just to fit in, or you know there's a version of you that feels more real, more confident, more you, then this 4-week coaching program is designed for you. Together we'll uncover authentic pieces of your identity that you're ready to bring forward, and I'll help you integrate it through small daily actions and guided reflections. By the end, you'll feel more confident expressing who you truly are naturally, without forcing it. We'll be doing one-on-one weekly sessions, personalized accountability, and tools to help you take simple, courageous steps towards living authentically in more areas of your life. At an introductory rate of $500 for my first case studies, you're ready to embrace the most authentic version of yourself. Dang. And I've reached my limit on ChatGPT. Well, I think I've gotten what I needed out of GBT, and I think I've got myself an offer. I'm probably going to read through it, rewrite it so that it sounds less like an AI, and post it, because imperfect and posted is better than nothing. So now we have our coaching offer, and even a little potential social media post. You know what I'm going to do? In Claude, I've been building a project that is my Socratic business mentor and guide. I have been asking about all of my business problems. So what I'm going to do, download as a markdown file, save, throw it in here. I have put together a proposal and an offer and a small social media post for a new offer I am creating for one-on-one coaching, where I help my target avatar find a piece of their identity they are struggling to present authentically and embody, and helps them to incorporate it into their identity and make it feel easier to embody this identity more authentically in their day-to-day lives. Help me refine this offer and ask me questions to make it better. When Jerry has completed 4-week program, what's the one sentence he'd use to describe his transformation? I feel like a different person. I feel like this process is more a creating something new. It might be from a seed that comes from where they were, but it's probably something they want to have but think they don't have. And so by the end of it, they'll feel like they've gained a new thing. What specific moment in week 1 will Jerry think, wow, this is different from anything else I've tried? I think by starting with the identity and working backwards from that to find the steps that will lead towards creating that identity, and then taking those small steps in the first couple of weeks that'll actually feel like we're making progress towards building this new identity. Yes, it has identified I want to help people build themselves. So here's its map out the journey. Day 1, behavior. We identify where they currently are at. They sit quietly in meetings, they type and delete messages, avoid eye contact, feeling invisible, frustrated, self-conscious. So we've identified these, and then we want to get to a midpoint where they've posted genuinely on like a school community or some sort of social media area. Practice making eye contact during a Zoom call, which is actually easier than doing it in real life. That's a good idea. Yeah, the surprise that this isn't terrible and it might even be a little bit helpful, and maybe I can do this. Regularly contributing ideas, initiating conversations, feeling natural, someone who shares valuable perspectives. I like the flow there. I think in the first meeting, it'll be me working with Jerry to help him identify some piece of his identity that he wants to adopt And it could be something that he's not aware of that I could help him identify, if it's like confidence, if it's like vulnerability, is it like communication skills, is it like someone who could do hard things, is it someone who's on time, someone who contributes ideas, someone who speaks up. These sorts of things I think is a good place to start in week 1 so that we can identify the goal by the end of the 4 weeks, and then we build the roadmap together on week 1, and then we check in every week to see how they're progressing and what is holding them back, and try and address the resistances and the pitfalls throughout the month. After practicing for 28 days, hopefully we have adopted the identity to some degree, where it feels more comfortable to say, I am confident, than it did in the beginning. So if at the start, saying I am confident feels profoundly uncomfortable, the goal by the end of it is being able to say I am confident with less discomfort. What tangible evidence will he have that this transformation is real and not just him acting differently for a month? The tangible evidence will be that it feels more comfortable the more that it's practiced, and the more it feels like putting on a comfortable set of clothes. Like how when you initially change your style, it might feel a little off for a bit, but then you begin to acclimate into it and it just feels normal. I think trying to build this feeling of normalcy is the evidence that will show that it is working. Challenge me to go deeper on this selection process because it's the make or break moment. Okay. The identity selection framework, explaining the Goldilocks zone of identity change. The sweet spot between too easy and too hard. Like weight training, just enough to be uncomfortable, but not enough to be too heavy. It needs to have 3 qualities. Aspirational enough to excite, worth the discomfort. So it should be something to identify the 3 qualities of the identity we want to choose for Jerry. It needs to be aspirational enough to excite him, and it's worth making it through discomfort. So it should be something that's holding him back and will unlock progress in a major goal of theirs. Believable enough, something that his brain doesn't immediately reject and he perceives as achievable. So maybe something he has seen other people do, or he's seen other people transform into this kind of person, and is specific enough to practice daily. Not just be confident or be someone who shares one idea per meeting, but like actual actionable steps broken down into their smallest 5% component. What's the thing that would get me 5% towards this goal? And then if I stack enough 5%, I'll eventually get to being fully confident. How will you know when you've hit the right identity piece for Jerry? What signals will tell you that yes, this is it, versus this is what he thinks he should want? So it should be something that's a little bit strange. So like there's a lot of the standard advice out there of how to be confident, how to be yourself. But in my approach, I want to find a step that feels authentic to them, but is maybe counterintuitive to how society would advise Jerry to pursue his goals. Like for me, I decided to wear a top hat every day, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever made. Now that's a bit of an extreme example, but I think it makes my point. What if Jerry says, I want to be confident, but his real need is I want to be seen as valuable? How do you dig beneath the surface and identify his core need? That's tricky, but I think open-ended value questions would be the way to do this. I'd probably want to brainstorm some good questions that could do some probing here. So I think the process for breaking it down is trying to identify the smallest 1 to 5% step that makes a step towards being confident. If the goal is to be confident, what is a tiny action you could do that would make you feel just a smidge more confident? Is there a piece of clothing you could put on, some sort of lucky charm, some sort of exercise you could do, something you could listen to, something small that would give you just a little bit of boost that could then lead you into taking another step towards doing the thing that you need confidence for? Weird confidence. Yes. Weird confidence. Ooh, that's good. This is good. God, I need this one. I am someone who brings unexpected value. Man, I need my own course. This is great. I am someone who owns my quirks. This is very good. The probing questions. What 3 to 5 questions would help you dig beneath I want confidence to finding Jerry's real identity desires? I mean, if we're talking D&D character creation systems, it's like, do you want to be strong, dexterous, constitution, wisdom, charisma, and intelligence? So if they then pick one of those, and I'd expect that they'd go for charisma, intelligence, maybe strength, and then I suppose there's subcategories inside of those. What kind of charisma do you want? Who's someone whose charisma you admire? There's also various different types of charisma. I think there's like 6 of them. I'd have to look them up, but that could be good, different, like deeper probing situations. Like, okay, we can be the funny charisma, or the big charisma, or the subtle charisma. We could maybe investigate why they want a particular identity and what particular aspect of that identity would be helpful towards that goal. How do you help Jerry find his version of wearing a top hat? Something feels weird but right. That if take 5% steps is actually a 180-degree spin from conventional advice. It's probably something small that they've always liked doing, but maybe don't share with most people, but are only a small group of close friends that they do it with, or even is something they only do by themselves. Whatever their hyper interest is, could be something as simple as a favorite color or a particular topic that they are deeply interested in, a type of clothing item that they are particularly fond of, and then trying out a variety of things in that space, where for me it was like a hat, and I've tried on a couple of different hats, but none of them have worked quite as well as the top hat. It was the first one I chose, and I just deliberately went for something that was very far in left field. I was like, I want something very weird, something no one else is doing, so that's why I went for the top hat, and it's worked for me since then. And at the end of the first week, we have this identity piece chosen. What is the very first action they need to take that night or the next morning, and how specific can you make it? This is something where I think we want to identify these steps in the actual meeting. It's difficult to make a generic suggestion for this without knowing my individual client and what their goal is, what their identity they want is, and then maybe a little bit about what the weird kind of stuff that they're into is. Then we could identify what is the smallest step that takes us in that direction and figure out what 5% of that looks like. We would do that in the first meeting of at the very beginning on day 1. Weird confidence through micro rebellions. It's a declaration of I choose to be different, and that's what Jerry needs. Permission to be weird in their own specific way. This isn't another fake it till you make it program. It's find your weird and wear it proudly. I like this concept of choosing to be different, finding the weird that works, weird confidence through micro rebellions. Could you give me a list of 10 names in this vein? Proof, pressure, Jerry's skeptical. How do you prove in advance that finding his weird thing will actually make him more confident and not more weird? I can show the proof that it worked for me. I have several different examples of how when I really leaned into the pieces of me that made me weird, each time it made things better. The price anchor. At $500, what makes this different from generic confidence coaching at the same price? What's the one thing that you do that nobody else does? I think we lean into finding your weird that works. I'm here not to build you generic confidence. I'm here to build you authentic confidence that feels like you. And it's not just some random weird, it's your weird. I like this one. So I like the weird that works coaching, the weird that works authenticity coaching. And let's use this hook. And then the fear factor. What if Jerry says, but I don't want to be weird. I want to be normal and confident. How do you reframe weird as memorable or authentic? Well, part of it is I think using weird as a filtering mechanism for clients could be good. I kind of want to attract the clients who have a weird thing that they want to try and express. I don't really want to work with normal clients. I think that's a good way to dive into my niche. Proof behind the Top Hat story. What are 2 to 3 specific client transversations, even hypothetical, that would show weird confidence? Proof stack. This is the trickiest part, is I don't have a lot of proof outside of myself, but the first one I did was started wearing orange hoodies in middle school and really embracing trying to stand out with a bright color. And it helped me attract a few friends at the time. Then when I started wearing the top hat in high school, it gave me a bit of an identity as I wanted to be different and stand out and not be the same as everyone else. And so I deliberately picked something deep out of left field, but was still like socially acceptable, but just barely. But then like completely claimed it and made it my own. And the conviction with which I did that helped me carve out a little friend group that I maintained through high school. And then, as I continued to do that, in both looking for a job that would let me wear my hat and finding a partner that liked me whilst I was wearing the hat, and because of the hat in some respects, really led me to find a job that I enjoy doing and to have a partner that I couldn't have imagined acquiring. And I think one of my favorite pieces of proof will be the wedding photo I have with her, where I'm in a bright orange suit and a silk top hat. If you had to guarantee one specific outcome from the first session, what would it be? You will leave with us having identified one component of your identity that you will be able to implement in your day-to-day life that will help build your confidence, that will help you feel more authentic if you implement it into your day-to-day life. All right, last round of questions. We're almost there. It's hard, but it's going to be worth it. What 3 questions would you ask a potential client to know if they're your kind of weird versus someone who just wants generic advice? Well, first, if they're talking to me, they probably don't want generic confident advice. If they resonate with my community and my postings and my authenticity, then I can probably help. Maybe ask what about my stuff drew them towards me? What about the word weird resonates with you? And maybe ask if they would consider themselves weird. Would they self-identify as weird? How will I know if the program is working? Not just how Jerry feels, but how I feel about the program and what real transformation is. I think it's when you can embody and embrace the weird, when you are excited about it, when you get more excited the closer you get towards it, and the more you want to lean into it. After I have some successful case studies, what is my plan to raise the price and refine the offer? So yeah, I do want to I'm thinking about doubling the price each time I do a batch of clients, 3 to 5 clients per batch. So at the next step, I would refine the offer to really clarify the process once we've tested it a few times. Refine the process, try to streamline it, try to make it more efficient and address any pitfalls or difficulties that might pop up during the first batch of test cases. Perfect, and I've run out of AI for my actual subscription. I think this is the point at which I take all of the information that this has refined. I'll even refine this offer post here with these concepts. Maybe I'll come back to it when I get more at 6 p.m. But for now, this went in a weird direction. I didn't expect it to go, but I think this was a great way to identify how to build an offer, especially using a bit of AI help. I have built this Socratic business mentor and guide. So these are the instructions that I've given my AI, this one in particular, to help me use Socratic questioning to dive deeper into my ideas instead of just having the AI. So I've created this Expert Socratic Tutor AI instructions file, and I'll attach it down below in case anyone who finds this video wants to use this to help them build their offer. I find it is extremely helpful in drilling down into concepts that I haven't even thought of. And by using Google's voice typing tool, I can speak out loud my thoughts and responses to the AI's question and then type them in there and get text responses, because I personally don't like talking to the AIs. It creeps me out, so I'll just do it via text. I hope that this was helpful and not too confusing. I'm gonna edit it down and see what we get out of it. Let me know if you have any questions, and let me know what you think of the offer. It'll be pinned down below.